There's something about being alone in the woods at night that twists the air. The kind of isolation where every sound, every movement feels like it's closing in on you. You start hearing things, footsteps that aren't your own, twigs snapping underfoot, a cold gust of wind that shouldn't exist. And the longer you stay, the more you start to feel watched. Now, I'm not saying you should be afraid, but what if you walked into the woods alone tonight, and the person you thought was behind you wasn't there at all? If you think you're safe, think again. Don't leave just yet. Subscribe before the night swallows you whole, and drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and the time. It's dark where you are, isn't it? Just wait, the woods are always watching. This happened to me when I was 21 late October, during a weekend camping trip with my cousin, Remy, at a small state forest a few hours from home. We weren't hardcore hikers or anything. We just wanted a fire, some noodles, and a night under the stars before exams swallowed us. It was off-season, so the official campground was empty. We liked that, no drunk neighbors, no barking dogs. We set up a single tent near a trailhead, put our food in a bare canister, and started a little fire ring. The sun went down behind the pines, and the temperature fell hard. It was the kind of cold that makes your breath look like smoke. Nothing creepy at first, just regular woods sounds. Leaves ticking in the breeze, a single owl, wind in the needles. Around 10 p.m., I heard footsteps on the trail. Not animal steps. Shoe steps. Slow and careful, like someone trying not to be heard. They stopped a few yards from us. We both froze. I called out, "Hey, someone there?" No answer. A minute later, more steps retreated the way they came until they faded into the trees. We laughed it off, maybe a late hiker. Still, I tossed extra sticks on the fire and kept my headlamp around my neck. By midnight, the woods went flat, no owl, no wind, nothing. That silence felt like foam stuffed in my ears. Then, in the dark beyond the firelight, something clicked, like a tent pole snapping together. Another click, a soft metallic zip, very faint. Remy sat up. "Did you hear that?" I did. Zippers are unmistakable when you camp. We pointed our lights down the trail. Pale trunks stared back. Nothing moved. We finally crawled into our tent. I was almost asleep when I heard that zipper again, much closer. Not ours, the sound was outside, a few feet to my left. It zipped slow, like fingers testing the teeth. I whispered, "Remy." He held his breath. The zipper stopped. I pictured a hand pinching fabric, waiting for a reaction. We didn't give one. After a minute, the zipper picked up again, closing. Then came that tent pole click, once, twice, and the soft metallic ping of a stake being tapped. Remy mouthed, "Second tent." I shook my head, but we both knew what those sounds were. Someone was setting up right beside us without a flashlight, without speaking. We thought about saying something, but you learn a rule when you camp far from people. Don't invite weirdness in. At around 2 a.m., I woke up because something pressed the wall of the tent near my face. Not a poke, more like a flat palm leaning in. I held perfectly still. The fabric brushed my cheek. A breath of cold air slipped through a tiny gap in our zipper. Whoever it was leaned there for a long time, like they were listening to our breathing. Then the pressure lifted. Footsteps circled. They stopped at the back of the tent, where our heads were. Fingertips dragged slowly across the nylon. Back and forth. Back and forth. Remy hissed, "Enough," and unzipped our door in one hard rip. I followed, blasting my headlamp. The beam blew open the night. Our fire was a puddle of coals. And to the left, there it was, a second tent. A small gray dome, no brand logo, no rainfly. It hadn't been there earlier. The door faced ours, just 6 feet away, like it had been watching us. "Hello," I called. No answer. The zipper on the gray tent twitched, one quick tug, and stopped. We backed up. "We'll call the ranger," Remy said, but his phone had no service. Mine was dead. We grabbed the pocket knife and a long stick, because that's all we had. We talked loud, stomped around, made ourselves big. After a while, we crawled back into our tent. Both of us pointed toward the door with lights on. Every 10 minutes, I checked the second tent. It was just there around shadow. The thought of someone kneeling inside it, facing us, knees touching the fabric, would not leave my head. Just before dawn, I slept for maybe 20 minutes. When I woke, the woods had brightened to blue. Birds were finally making noise again. I unzipped our door and peered out. The second tent was gone. I ran out, half expecting to see drag marks or footprints. Nothing. No stake holes, no flattened grass, no disturbed soil. The ground looked undisturbed, like the second tent had never been there. Remy came out behind me, eyes red. "No way," he kept saying. "No way." We packed in silence. We didn't eat. We didn't even make coffee. We just folded our tent with shaking hands, threw the stuff in the trunk, and drove. I didn't feel safe until we hit the main road. A week later, I tried to rationalize it online. I found a local hiking forum and posted about strange camp noises near the trailhead. A guy DM'd me. He asked which trail and which date. I told him. He sent a single photo, a missing person flyer, 5 years old. The man had vanished after a solo campout in that same forest. The last thing a ranger saw at dawn was a gray, unbranded tent pitched beside an empty fire ring. No footprints inside when they opened it. He wrote, "Locals say it moves at night. It doesn't leave marks because it isn't a tent." I worked a summer contract with the county parks department when I was 24. Not glamorous, trash pickup, broken boardwalk repairs, closing gates at night. The park included a big stretch of woods with a marsh and a single gravel road that looped for 8 miles. There was a tiny ranger station at the halfway point, more like a shed with a desk and radio. My job on a few nights was to sit there, check the loop every hour, and make sure the wildlife cameras weren't vandalized. I liked the quiet, brought a thermos, a sandwich, and a paperback. The station had a laminated, hand-drawn map on the wall. Someone had sketched the loop road, footpaths, and camera posts with little stick pin icons. Sharpened notes said "Do not move, private gate, old bridge, and avoid past dusk on a path I never used." It looked like a teenager's treasure map, messy but weirdly accurate. Around 11 p.m. on the third night, I heard tires on gravel. The whole shed buzzed. I stepped out with my flashlight. The loop road was empty, but I still heard tires rolling, slow, crunching gravel right there. Then it stopped. A minute later, one camera pinged on the radio. Motion detected, post 4. Nothing unusual. 10 minutes later, motion detected at post 7. Okay, animals move. But then the ping said post 12, 30 seconds later. Then post 1, right back by the station. Too fast for anything on foot. I checked the map. Post 1 was marked with a little red dot someone had drawn long ago. I hadn't noticed the color coding until then. Post 4 had a red dot too. Post 7 red. Post 12 red. The rest were black. In the corner of the map, in tiny letters, someone had scrawled, "Red means road." But all the cameras were on trees, not the road shoulder. I went out to the loop and shined my light down both ways. Gravel gleamed and faded. No car, no lights, no engine. Back inside, I watched the radio. Post 3 motion. The map showed post 3 as black, off the road near the marsh. But my brain was catching up. The route the pings made, if you drew lines between them, traced the loop like a slow lap. Not the animal paths, the road. Whatever was triggering the cameras was taking the road like a car, just without a car. I took the station truck and crawled along at 10 miles an hour. Windows down. It felt like chasing a ghost tail light. Every time the radio pinged, I pictured it 50 yards ahead. The night pressed close. Trees formed a tunnel. About a mile in, my headlights hit something that didn't reflect right. The gravel ahead shifted. Not like wind, like pressure. The surface flattened and slowly rolled away from me, crunching without weight, like a road skin being pushed by invisible tires. I stopped. The road stopped moving. I cut the engine. In the silence, the gravel hissed and settled. Then from behind me, the same rolling sound started up, creeping past my door, then around the front of the truck like something was circling. I slammed the locks and hit the high beams. They glared off nothing, but the gravel kept pressing and sighing, like a heavy car idling in place. A simple thought crawled into my head. Don't let it pull up beside you. I don't know why that felt crucial, but it did. I put the truck in reverse, the engine whining, and backed up as straight as I could. The invisible weight backed with me, matching. Then my radio crackled, post 1 motion. It was at the station. I floored it. The truck fishtailed again, then caught. When I hit the straightaway, I saw the station's porch light swing suddenly, as if something large had breezed by. I slammed the brakes, jumped out, and stormed inside. The map on the wall was different. Someone had added a line in fresh Sharpie, a thin loop around the whole road, like a second lane. It wasn't there when I left. The handwriting was mine. My hands were shaking. I hadn't touched the marker, but the ink on my fingers said I had. The radio popped again. Post 1, motion cleared. I sat there till sunrise, staring at that drawn loop, feeling like I'd talked in my sleep and said something dangerous. I quit the job the next week. I can't drive at night in the woods now. If a road curves through trees, my heart speeds up, and I keep checking the passenger window. Months later, I ran into the older ranger who trained me. I made some joke about the haunted map, and he didn't laugh. He said the county paved that loop road 10 years earlier, but it never took. Asphalt peeled within a week. They tested soil, drainage, everything. The engineer's note in the file, he said, used an odd phrase: "The road won't hold." The night before the crew gave up, the foreman quit and left a hand-drawn diagram on the office wall. A second lane around the loop in black marker with a message underneath. "If it wants a lane, give it one." The diagram matched my map exactly, right down to the red dots. He looked at me hard and said, "That lane isn't for us." I was 19 when this happened, driving home from a friend's house after a late study session. I took the back route to avoid highway traffic, two-lane blacktop that cut through a state forest. I know, bad idea, but it shaved 20 minutes off. I remember a wooden mile marker with the number 19 burned into it and a small pull-off nearby. I was tired and decided to stop for a minute, scroll a song, drink some water, and blink the road out of my eyes. The pull-off fit maybe 2 cars. Mine was the only one. I shut the engine and immediately noticed how dark it was. The kind of dark that makes your rearview mirror feel like a mouth. I cracked the window and heard a single whistle. 3 notes, rising a little like a bird that learned one bar of a song and got stuck there. It came from the trees across the road. I listened. It repeated the same 3 notes, same pitch, same spacing. I played a random song on low, trying to make it background noise. The whistle matched the beat. I turned the music off. The whistle matched the silence. I don't know why I decided to whistle back. Boredom? Stupidity? I returned the 3 notes out the window and waited. The answer came faster, closer, a few steps deeper on the same patch of ground. I told myself it was a mockingbird, but the rhythm was too perfect. It wasn't singing, it was copying. I started the car and put it in drive. The headlights lit the sign across the pull-off, some faded park rules. In the beam, I saw something on the shoulder like a small, upright shape. Not a person, more like a bundle of branches tied together standing on end, with twine around the middle. The whistle came again from the trees behind it, the same 3 notes. I asked out loud, "Who's there?" No answer. I put my foot down and got nothing. The gas pedal sank, but the car didn't move. It was like the road went soft. My phone had 1 bar. I tried calling my friend, but the call failed. The whistle repeated, steady as a metronome. Then it changed, longer, up and down. The bundle of branches shook all at once, like hands had gripped it and then let go. It fell over without touching the ground, like the air caught it and laid it down. That was enough. I killed the engine, pulled the keys, and told myself to walk to the mile marker and back, get my head straight, then try again. I stepped out, and the air smelled like wet leaves and something iron. As soon as my shoes hit the gravel, the whistle moved to my left, then to my right, then behind me. It was the same exact tone every time, but it jumped places like it was mapping me. I walked to the mile marker. The wood was scarred and smooth, like it had been handled a lot. There were small cuts in the post at shoulder height, notched almost all the way around, like someone had been twisting wire there for years. A voice spoke right behind my ear, soft and flat. 3 notes. "You answered." I spun. No one. The whistle came again from the road. I raised my keys like that would do anything. Then something stepped onto the asphalt in front of my car. Only the lower half of it caught the light, bare legs, muddy, feet black with dirt. The rest of it stayed above the headlight beam, like the dark itself was a hood. It didn't move like a person. It pivoted in small, exact angles, like a bird deciding which way to hop. It whistled once, short, the first note, and the car's dome light turned on by itself. It whistled again, the second note, and my trunk popped. The third note, and the radio clicked on, playing white noise. I took 3 steps back, then ran to the driver's door, slammed it, and locked it. The thing didn't rush. It turned its head, at least the dark shape where a head should be, toward me and lifted a hand into the light. The hand was covered in old hospital ID bracelets, cracked and dirty. Some still had torn paper tags on them. The wrist made a little rotating motion, like turning a knob. My radio volume climbed. I don't remember putting the car in reverse. I just remember the sudden jolt, like the tires found actual road. The car leapt backward, Then I threw it in drive and shot out of the pull-off. The figure didn't chase. It stood in the center of the road, turning that wrist slowly, like it was winding a toy. The whistle followed me for half a mile, always the same 3 notes, never closer, never farther, like it was keeping my speed. I didn't take that road again for a long time. Even now, if a song hits 3 repeating notes, my skin crawls and my hand goes to the radio. I keep hospital band cutters in my glove box, and I don't know why. 2 years later, I found an old article linked in a local forum. A mental health facility used to sit near that forest edge in the 1970s. One patient went missing on a supervised walk. The staff called him the Whistler because he whistled 3 notes to calm himself when he got anxious. The facility closed. The records were sealed. At the bottom of the article, a comment from a retiree said mile marker 19 used to be his job. He'd replace the plastic wristbands kids left there when they dared each other to get chosen. He wrote, "Don't answer the notes. If you do, it learns your speed." What you just heard isn't the worst of it. These stories reach me because someone finally admits what the woods did to them, but they always leave out the part they still hear at night. There are darker ones coming, things that don't need tents, roads, or mile markers to find you. If you made it this far, don't assume you're safe when you hit home. Lock in with us so you don't miss what's next, like the video, and subscribe before you turn off the lights. Tell me which story stayed with you, 1, 2, or 3, and tell me where you're watching from and what time it is there. If it's late, don't look out at the trees. If it's daytime, remember, the woods don't sleep. They just wait until you do.